Hello, and welcome back to a voyage of quiet, powerful strength that leaves a lasting impression. You know, the silent, unshakable resolve that conveys volumes without speaking. You gave your all, right? You've sacrificed your priorities and goals to prove your value. You did everything you could to be there for them, thinking they'd realize how much you care. You exceeded expectations. Additionally, always available to drop everything at any time. You've been that person who never says no or asks for anything. You've shown kindness endlessly in hopes that they'll see, appreciate, and care. What did you receive? They treated you as a convenience, footnote, throwaway. They ignored all your love and attention. They treated you like dirt, as if loyalty and dedication were duties, not treasures. You tried talking, explaining, and even pleading for a little recognition to close the gap. Each attempt made you feel more invisible, like they were too blind, careless, or comfy to perceive your importance. Give and give, yet you appeared to disappear more. They felt numb to your presence and emotion, and the harder you tried, the less you mattered. You realized nothing would change. Silence was your last and most powerful option. You opted to fade away, let the commotion die down, and stop being in their world. No more late-night texts, calls, or vague reminders that you were waiting and hoping, like you vanished, leaving quiet. How about that silence? It's more powerful than your words. Now they're struggling in a world without you, where the constant, the warmth they took for granted, is gone. They may strive to act normal in public, putting on a bold, disinterested facade. Silence is ripping them apart within. Each empty minute and notification without your name reminds them of what they wasted. The void you left haunts them behind closed doors. They may want to call, weep, or reach out, but pride keeps them in mute remorse, replaying those moments, reliving their neglect, and seeing every memory in a new light now that it's too late. They may smile in public, but within they're somber and grieving what they've lost. This silence, your power, your method to reclaim control. Say it with me. Silence is my superpower. Say it with conviction. Silence is your strength, the loudest statement you can convey. Trust me, they'll feel it. Epictetus, the famous philosopher, once stated, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This is about you finding your strength, not them. Admit it, silence is my superpower. We're just starting, so remain with me. Stay with me, and I'll show you how quiet may turn the tables and force them to face their emptiness without you. We'll explore how silence changes the dynamic and reveals the void they didn't know you filled, and made them wonder what they missed. Before we get into their story, let's discuss something you may be worrying about. Despite the hurt and the way they treated you like a habit, I know you love them and probably still do. That love is hard to let go of, so you may wonder, what if they go on? What if my quiet is meaningless? You nodding, right. The dread. Being ignored feels like it's tearing you apart. I promise they're not going anywhere emotionally. You may see them wearing that mask, acting like they're fine without you. However, a storm is developing behind that facade. Your absence hurts them more than they realize, even if they pretend not to care. This quiet has penetrated deeper than words conveyed. Let's face it, if they can't see your worth in the silence or feel that loss, they never respected you. Do you want someone who requires constant push to value you? Someone who only appreciates what they have when they're losing it? This stillness is a test, a moment of truth for you both. If they still can't perceive your value, that clarity is gold. Keep that truth. It's powerful. So you continue. Keep calm and let them miss you. Believe me, they're feeling it. You answer if they don't. They'll realize how much you meant if they do. Please like this adventure if you haven't already. It's about claiming your power and value, not just silence. Want to dig deeper? The knowledge that you're gone will hit them hardest, so let's go. We're only beginning that realization. This is when they realize you're gone and out of reach. They may pretend like nothing's changed, but they sense that familiar warmth sliding away, unreachable. Most of us would make a mistake here. We'd feel sympathy and doubt. We would think, maybe I should check in, just let them know I'm here. And then we'd reach out, breaking the silence and undoing our absence. However, that's a slip. Up, unaffordable. Silence lets people experience their own thoughts, mistakes, and emptiness. It's not about protecting them in your presence. Every moment you speak, you relinquish the authority you worked so hard for. Don't check in to re-establish your presence. This is about letting them realize what they had and feel it slipping away. Another temptation is thinking our job is to sit around. We're waiting, checking our phones for notice. Silence isn't about that. Silence is about channeling your energies into yourself. The goal is to build oneself up and develop stronger, not to stop living. Consider it a chance to become a person who shapes their own future rather than waiting. This absence will shake and show them, if they love you, worth in new ways. Your silence is like a seed placed in the calm that will grow or die. Those who care will sense the pull, agony, and yearning to reach out. If they don't, let this silence disclose the truth immediately, because you don't want to be with someone who doesn't value you without reminders. Seneca said, "If you want a true friend, break away from those who would not grieve to lose you." Silence is powerful. It shows who believes in you and others. Either they miss you or are moving on. You win either way. You're discovering who deserves your time, energy, and love. Imagine standing tall, gazing forward, not back. You're building a life on strength and progress, not approval. As you persevere, those who value you will notice. Caring people will catch up. If they don't, you'll know leaving was best. Might have made. For this stage of the voyage, I choose myself over their attention. Silence is my power. Remember, this is just the beginning. Say it aloud or write it down. We don't know if they value you or realize what they've lost, but that's not our issue. This stillness is the start of discovering the truth, and soon the answers will come. Hold on. Every stride forward brings clarity, and you're about to experience silence's power. If they seem uninterested, it's a front. That'll come next. Stay with me. This voyage has much more to offer. Let's continue. You chose silence, and now the ripples start. The facade of indifference complicates matters. This stage throws so many of us off because they behave like nothing has changed, as if your absence is just another day. Might see them, posting on social media, smiling with pals, and possibly acting better than ever. They'll act unconcerned, like your quiet is background noise. But that indifferent mask, not true. They're hiding behind a shield to appear indifferent. People set up shields when they feel out of control and realize they're not in charge. They're lying to make your absence appear pointless. Consider it poker. They're hiding their weaknesses. expecting you'll reach out first. They want to appear unaffected, but their indifference is a facade for their true feelings. Falling into the trap is common. They seem unaffected, making us doubt everything. We wonder, should I check in? Did I wrong? Or are they fine without me? However, their indifference is part of the game. The first line, when control is eroding, people utilize defense. They're attempting to convince themselves as much as you that they don't need you. The great Epictetus stated, circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him. Your silence reveals something they don't want to face. Instead of facing it, they wear indifference, hoping you'll crack, reach out, and restore their security and control. Imagine them shielding themselves. Feelings. They hope and pray you'll break first. You must stay strong, because if you crack and ask whether they're okay, you give them what they wanted. Giving them the reins again means giving up your quiet. Even if they won't admit it, silence is working on them. Allowing it to work is the key. Giving in resets everything, and they know they have you. Indifference is just. They hide behind a weak wall, believing you won't notice the fractures. Your absence is slowly pressing on them behind that mask. They may not recognize it, but they're feeling it. Slowly, they're realizing that filling your vacuum requires more than pretending they don't care. In a hushed terror, they hope you won't see their vulnerability and mounting discomfort. The quiet struggle is mounting strain. You're silent daily. Your true test begins here. One would think stillness is merely waiting, but that's only half the story. The power of silence is greatest when you're actively constructing yourself, learning, and shaping your life instead of gazing at your phone, wondering when they'll understand what they've lost. Think about yourself. Each day you invest in yourself, you grow stronger. They'll feel that. If they love you, these feelings will surface in silence. Staying silent and growing, instead of waiting, will display your strength, which they can't ignore. Though they may not understand it, they'll feel it. The indifference mask will feel heavy and awkward like an old clothing. It will get tougher to fake. Because of your quiet, they'll want to reconnect with you. Suppose they don't care. What if mask? All they have, nothing underneath. Yes, this stillness reveals the truth. If they're indifferent and can go without you, let it be known. Clarity is worth more than false comfort, because you don't want to give your energy and affection to someone who doesn't value you unless you're right there. If your absence doesn't bother them, let that judgment. Marcus Aurelius stated, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." Stand. Let it lead you away from unappreciative people. Remember to focus on yourself. Let their indifference mask remain that. Don't let it shake or draw you back. You can construct, grow, and shape a life without others' notice now. They'll return on their own if they miss you. If they don't, they've made room for someone who will actually value you. Say it to yourself. Their indifference doesn't bother me. Build my own strength and worth. Declare, write, and own it. Remind yourself whenever uncertainty arises. Each day makes you stronger and more robust. We must stay together on this journey because the layers deepen. This facade won't last long, and the truth will eventually leak out. Much more to discover, and we're only beginning. The wait stage begins now. A regret. Your silence is hitting them like a wave they can't escape. At first, they attempted to ignore it. They see the gap you left behind, and sorrow creeps in like a shadow. It's no longer about pretending they don't care. They realize they may have made an irreparable error. Imagine them repeating every memory, every chance to admire you, every time they ignored you, like staring from a cliff, re-examining everything they took for granted. The choices they made now haunt them, and they realize with a sickening sense that each careless conduct and disrespectful act is costing them more than they expected. Seneca said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." So they're processing the end of their relationship with you. They'll never acknowledge it, but they're hurting from losing something real. Regret seeps, not shouts, softly, like a shadow, following them everywhere. Long silence strengthens it. It's not about missing you. It's about realizing they lost something valuable and priceless. Most people at this point try to ignore their regret. They'll act disinterested, but they're feeling the weight of their acts. They're considering every chance to treat you better, stay close, value you, and each memory hurts. They're dealing with pride, guilt, losing control, and realizing it's hurting more than they thought. This may evoke sympathy. You may want to comfort them by reaching out. Remember, this is their journey, not yours. They must feel remorse and emptiness to realize what they've lost. Even with excellent intentions, intervening now would diminish them. Experiencing. Sometimes people need to dwell with regret to feel its full weight and appreciate what they've lost. Breathe deeply and remember, I am worth more than their regret. I chose myself over fleeting emotions. Say it aloud and absorb. You won't save them from their acts. You create strength. They carry sorrow. Keep following me. We're only halfway there. Regret occurs. Strong. But it's just the start. As regret grows, they must face more facts they can't avoid. Hold on. There's much more to come. And the adventure is far from over. If you're still here, and these words resonate with you, let me know where you are on this path. Are you ready to go silent or still struggling with doubts? Leave a keep it up comment. You're not giving up, since this path is about building yourself as much as comprehending what they've lost. Stay tuned. We're not done. Next, confront the masks, substitutes, and how they fill the vacuum you left. Continue. There's more to discover. Okay, let's continue this voyage. They're feeling regret, but instead of facing it and sitting with it, they might take a shortcut. And they do what? Searching for someone fresh. They want to fill your absence with a quick cure. This stage can be painful to observe, especially if they're flaunting it and acting like they've moved on effortlessly, like you're just another chapter. Don't be fooled. This is about escape, not going on. Imagine bandaging a serious wound, covering it up in hopes of numbing it with a new bond. Ache. They want anything to break their focus. It's just a diversion. Someone else can't replace your presence. They know it deep down. They're using this person as a mask to avoid facing their feelings, trying to avoid the emptiness you left by being busy and moving. This desire to replace you is a coping strategy, not a bond. Maybe they're convincing themselves, even you, that they're okay, happy, and gone on. Real relationship can't be replaced like an accessory. Finding a replacement isn't the point. When we lose something meaningful, we often look for a replacement that doesn't require us to alter or grow. But it's like fitting an unfit puzzle piece. Though it seems fine from afar, people can feel the emptiness it hides. They may go out more, post about their new contacts on social media like they're enjoying their greatest life. Remember that this is about their inability to accept their discomfort, not you. This show is their cover to pretend they've moved on. It's simply a show. the deeper truth? Real can't be replaced by transitory. Their facade is meant to protect them from remorse, but they're dealing with the new emptiness inside. Smiles and distractions won't help. You may rethink your worth after seeing this. You could question if you meant anything, if they can replace you so easily. Remember that this is their fear, not you. They fear your absence. They fear silence. Instead of facing it, they go to someone new, attempting to fill your past space. Keep this affirmation close. Asterisk, I am irreplaceable. My value is unmatched. Say it with confidence whenever doubt arises. Their acts show they're not ready to confront the truth on this voyage. Some choose temporary relief to facing their loss. Hidden behind someone new, they hope the emptiness will dissipate, but it never does. If they don't realize this on their own, you'll know they never valued you fully first. You keep that affirmation to remind yourself that their acts don't define you. Let them flee to someone new as a distraction, coping method, or quest. Due to true connection, you can't replace it. They're reminded of what they lost every time they try or look to others to fill the void. It's like covering a wound without healing. Even if they ignore it, the emptiness will hurt them. As philosopher Alain de Botton said, people only get truly interesting when they start to rattle the bars of their cages. But they're locked in denial. Expecting a new face would distract them. They avoid discomfort and don't respect what they lost. It's their path, not yours. Now comes the unraveling. This is when things go wrong and reality hits. At first, they thought, could continue as before. But without your steadiness and regular reassurance, their world crumbles. You were more than simply a visitor. You were their anchor, steady and unknowingly pillar. Now that foundation is gone and cracks are appearing, like holding water in their hands, it slides away no matter how hard they squeeze. It may feel like they're holding items. Under the surface, it's all falling apart. The distractions they employ to fill the void. They're feeling hollow and meaningless. They realize their world without you isn't as solid as they assumed. Occasionally, they feel that emptiness in the calm. Their connections or daily routines may feel hollow. Restlessness and lack of focus result from losing the stability you brought into their lives. Regardless, you grounded them. It was never appreciated. After losing that anchor, they're drifting and struggling to rediscover their footing. When they face the mess they made, they realize the full weight of their choices. They're losing their world, and no distraction can stop the emptiness. They feel that something's missing. You. They quietly realize that the stability they previously took for granted is gone, and they must face the consequences. It's easy to feel pity and want to help again at this point. Just remember, this is their path. They need to unwind and realize without your rescue. This is the only way they'll realize what they lost. Intervening now would erase their progress. Hold on to this. I am the stability they lost, yet my strength is mine. Remember this whenever you want to help, to lessen their suffering. They must travel alone and face the consequences of their deeds without your support. Your turn to grow, stand tall, and become stronger than ever. The truth is going to emerge as we near the crux of this adventure. More will come as their world crumbles under your absence. It's not over yet, so hold on. The full significance of what they lost is yet unclear, awaiting them. They'll soon be unable to ignore it. Keep watching while they battle in silence. The final facts will emerge, and their true feelings will be revealed. Sure, let's continue. Let's finish this journey. Now they can't ignore the silence, a void that keeps growing, a realization that finally settles in. They've attempted to hide it, escape from it, and divert themselves, but now those defenses are crumbling. They remain silent, a gaping silence they can't fill. Imagine them alone, with only your absence, and it's becoming deafening. The relationships they tried to make, the people they substituted, the shows they put on to appear fine, can't touch the emptiness they feel today. The pain of losing something dear and irreplaceable is unavoidable. This silence isn't dramatic. The anguish is quiet and relentless, deepening over time. It reminds them daily of what they lost. They initially assumed they could ignore it and it would go away. Now, every day, without you, draws them closer to a fact they can't ignore. Your absence is causing them trouble. Everywhere they turn, they see nothingness, a reminder of what they wasted. Imagine them staring at the ceiling at night without any messages or comfort. Your care is remembered. These silent times are when they feel it most. In solitude, without distractions, your absence hurts most. They may try to hide it or seem busy, but this quiet follows them about, reminding them of what they missed. You may be tempted to reach out to check on them or lessen their sorrow. They're traveling in solitude, not you. They must feel this void to understand their decisions without your intervention. Saving them from this quiet would erase their lesson. This silence will resonate if they cared and appreciated you. It will awaken feelings they sought to suppress and cannot ignore. If love existed, this void would force them to face it. People will know they lost something they can't find elsewhere. But if they don't care, they can survive this stillness unaltered, giving you clarity and knowledge. It reveals that they were never as invested as you were, and that independence will give you confidence to move forward. Remember, my quiet shows my power and worth. When you feel tempted to fill their void, say it. Your quiet is a powerful choice to respect yourself enough to step back and let them confront their creation. Now, the breaking point is near. After all the masks, distractions, and attempts to fill the hole, they can no longer avoid the truth. They must face what they've lost, take responsibility, and evolve, or stay in denial and regret forever. This is where some feel unbearable discomfort. They fall into guilt about losing something important. They realize the regret, emptiness, and pain aren't gone. The feeling is persistent, reminding them of what they lost. Every attempt to move on simply brings them back to the same realization. They lost something true, something they'll never get back. Others may take a different route. Your absence may be a wake-up call and a time of clarity. They realize that maybe they can face what they lost, comprehend what went wrong, and become a better person, like a fork in the path. They might let remorse devour them or develop from it. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your silence was their wake-up call, compelling them to evolve or stagnate. If they succeed, they've learned from their failures. They break down because they won't admit their mistakes. This final step is beautiful. Whatever they select, you're free. Stepping back and letting them face reality is your role. Their development is no longer your responsibility. You let people face themselves, grow, or stay the same. Now you're bigger. Your strength, worth, and independence are back. Finally, breathe deeply and say, "I am free." Your value is no longer dependent on others' recognition. In this new chapter, Nobody's approval defines your strength. You've gained clarity, confidence, and self-worth from this adventure. Though they may not realize it, you've earned self-respect, strength, and independence. You can live your genuine worth as you move forward. It was hard, but you're stronger, wiser, and ready for a future that acknowledges your growth. Please pause as we conclude. Let this sink in. Your stillness, strength, and travel have showed you your true potential. Your boundaries represent your value. Whether they realize what they lost or not, you got something valuable. Thank you for traveling with me. If this message touched you, share it to promote self-worth and resilience. Before you leave, tell us in the comments, are you ready for independence? Or do you welcome genuine new connections? Show your worth. Tell us, and remember that you've come far, and this is just the beginning. The freedom and fulfillment you deserve are waiting for you.